All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going way off the beaten path to a remote corner of the Pacific. We're here to investigate one of history's most baffling mysteries, Nan Madol. I mean, just look at it. It's an entire city made of stone that looks like it's literally floating on the ocean.
You know, from the very first moment outsiders laid eyes on this place, it just blew them away. We're talking way back in 1836. European visitors were just stunned. And this quote from a Dr. Campbell, it captures that feeling perfectly. He didn't see some primitive hut. No, he saw the work of a forgotten, incredible civilization whose story had just vanished.
So, to really wrap your head around the scale of this thing, just think about this one number, 750,000 tons. That's the estimated weight of the stone they used to build this city. To put that in perspective, the builders here moved almost 100 times more stone than what was used for the Great Pyramid's inside chambers. It's just staggering.
So yeah, this is Nan Madol. People call it the Venice of the Pacific, and for good reason. It's this huge complex of 92 artificial islands, all built right on top of a coral reef and all linked up by canals. And get this, it's the only ancient city like it in the entire world. Which, of course, brings up the two big questions. Who on Earth built this, and maybe even more important, how?
Okay, so let's start with the official story. You know, the one you'd find in a typical history book. It all points to a really powerful dynasty with a grand design.
So, archaeologists pretty much agree that the construction was the work of the Saudeleur Dynasty. These were some seriously powerful rulers who were in charge of the island of Pompeii for centuries. Carbon dating tells us the main building kicked off around 1180 AD, and this city, it was their capital, right up until it was just mysteriously abandoned, sometime in the early 1600s.
And according to this mainstream theory, Nan Madol was a really exclusive place. It was their political and religious capital. This was not a place for regular folks, no way. This was a secluded home for maybe 1,000 of the island's absolute elite. It was a spot for royal ceremonies and, this is a big one, for burying their most important dead.
But, and this is a big but, this is where that mainstream theory really starts to wobble. Because when you dig into the logistics, you know the how they did it, you run into some major, almost impossible problems. Okay, first up, the weight. We are not talking about a few simple rocks here. Some of these individual basalt columns weigh up to 50 tons. 50! That's heavier than a full-grown elephant and an empty semi-truck put together. And just remember, they had to move and lift these things with absolutely zero modern machinery.
Which naturally brings us to the massive problem of transport. The closest place to get these stones was miles away, and we're talking across dense jungle, over rugged mountains, and then across open water. So how? How did a society with what we'd call basic tools pull off a logistical feat that would honestly be a huge headache for engineers today?
Well, one of the go-to theories is that they used bamboo rafts. Makes sense, right? But when someone actually put this to the test back in 1995, the results were, well, pretty clear. A team built a big traditional raft, and they tried to load a stone on it that weighed just 1 ton. And remember, that's a tiny fraction of the bigger columns. What happened? The raft sank. Immediately. So yeah, that theory literally doesn't hold water.
And then you've got the manpower problem. It's a real paradox. The entire population of the island was only about 25,000 people. So to build Nan Madol in 400 years, they would have had to quarry and move over 1,800 tons of stone every single year. I mean, think about that. That implies this insane level of control and organization that just seems off for that time period. Especially when you remember that these same people still had to, farm and fish and just live their lives.
But maybe the biggest, most gaping hole in the whole mainstream theory, the one that truly has researchers scratching their heads, is where the stone even came from in the first place. Okay, so get this. Scientists have done the analysis, and they can trace about 40% of the basalt back to quarries there on the island. But the other 60%? That's over 500,000 tons of stone, and its geological source is a total mystery. No one has any idea where it came from. So, look, if modern science is kind of hitting a brick wall here, maybe, just maybe, it's time we listen to the stories the Pohnpeian people have been telling about this place for centuries. Yeah, their oral history has a very different take on things. You won't hear anything about rafts or thousands of workers. Nope, Instead, the legends say the massive stones were flown through the air, like they were weightless.
The main legend centers on these two sorcerer brothers, Olasipa and Olasohapa. The story goes that they were foreigners, maybe even giants, who showed up one day in a canoe, and using some kind of powerful magic, they commanded these huge basalt columns to just fly into place. They built Nan Madol, and they're the ones who started that whole Saudeleur Dynasty.
Okay, and this is where things get really interesting. Because these ancient legends, which sound like total fantasy, right? They start to connect with some very modern and very unconventional ideas.
I mean, think about it. Could the magic in the legends just be a folk memory of something else? Like a misunderstood advanced technology? Could the sorcerer giants have been, I don't know, people from a lost civilization who had knowledge we've forgotten? And that unknown source for all that stone? Could that point to a real, actual sunken kingdom?
Some researchers have pointed to theories like acoustic levitation. Now that's the idea that you can use specific sound frequencies to basically cancel out gravity, making really heavy things, well, weightless. Could that be the magic the Pons were talking about? A technology that let them literally fly these stones into place?
Then there are others who focus on the weird physical properties of the site itself. Nan Madol is famous for having unusually high electromagnetic energy. It's been reported over and over again that compasses just go haywire there, which has led some people to suggest that maybe the city was built there on purpose, on top of a powerful energy vortex, maybe to harness that energy.
And that brings us to what might be the most incredible theory of all. For decades, divers have been reporting strange things in the water around Nan Madol. We're talking submerged structures, paved streets, pillars, even monoliths under the waves. And this has fueled all the speculation that the city we can see today is just the tip of the iceberg, maybe the mountaintop of a much, much larger sunken city. Could it be connected to a lost continent like Mu?
So, at the end of the day, despite all our modern science, all our exploration, Nan Madol's deepest secrets are still locked away. It's a place that just completely defies any easy explanation.
And if all that wasn't enough, there's the local belief in a powerful curse. You see, early explorers who messed with the ruins, they tended to run into some pretty strange misfortune. Back in 1874, an anthropologist lost all his priceless artifacts in a shipwreck, and his own life ended in tragedy. Then, get this, in 1907, a German governor, Victor Berg, breaks into a sealed tomb and supposedly finds the skeletons of giants. The very next morning, he dies, suddenly and mysteriously. It's really no wonder the locals still call it the City of Ghosts.
So in the end, Nan Madol is so much more than just a ruin. It's a huge challenge to everything we think we know about the past. It forces us to ask, what were ancient people really capable of? Because if an impossible city of stone like this can just hide in plain sight, what other incredible secrets does our own history still hold?